Hey everybody, today is an interesting day. Some of you caffeine lovers know what I'm talking about. You saw what I did there? Caffeine and fiend, like addict. Anyway, today's an interesting day for the company of Starbucks. All across the nation, stores are going to be shut down for a special day of training and conversation on the topic of racial bias and discrimination. And it's interesting that even at my store, a lot of customers are bashing this approach, that it's silly and nothing's good is gonna come out of it. But I just ask you this, right? Who are you to judge that? You know, I'm thankful that my company is making an effort to be a part of this human issue. And the mission of Starbucks is this, for those of you who don't know it, it's to nurture the human spirit. I think there's a lot of nurturing that's been neglected on this particular topic right here. And I think CEO Kevin Johnson is making a boss move right now to do this. I don't know how he pulled it off, but he's the CEO, so I'll just leave that alone. But for years, since my experience with the company has been this, well, I won't really go into all the details of it, but I've experienced some discrimination since I've been working with the company, 2013. Not necessarily from my partners, my employees, but from a lot of customers I've experienced discrimination. But right now is a timely issue that Starbucks is getting involved. They're getting in this mess right now. And particularly since back 2011, racial tensions have really been surging here in America, for those of you are woke, right? But there's been some things going on. And I can say I've noticed that I was impacted greatly since 2011. Went to a college in Oklahoma. It was the first time I was ever called the N-word by a white person. And I can tell you since then, there have been a number of other different encounters I've had with racial slurs, where I felt that I was being belittled. I've walked into restaurants where mothers would guide their kids into the booth and tuck their purses under. And maybe some of you guys don't know exactly what that feels like. And I don't rule this out in any way. You don't have to be black to know what that feels like. And I'll just go ahead and make this statement right here. I've always said this to myself, and I've never been able to articulate it this way up until now. But I believe that the negligence of diversity and inclusion alone keeps us afraid of those we don't know, those who are different than us. If the difference is personality, race, skin color, education, it can be a number of different factors that could cause us that could trigger it could evoke these emotional responses that we may be conscious of, or we may not know where they come from. And guys, it's a thing called prejudice. It's when you make a decision, a conclusion about someone without beforehand knowledge. And it's practically unreasonable. But it's a real human issue, just as if there's other issues. I don't necessarily think it should be weighed more than other issues, but it does affect us differently. I can see that. But Starbucks is doing something about that. And I'm not saying this is the perfect approach, but I look around and all the other different organizations that could get involved. I know there's a Black Lives Matter movement, and people have some negative feelings about that movement, but I'm not here to talk about them. But I mean, I'd like to see Christians get more involved on the issue. And it's not a black issue, it's a people issue. That's what it is. I'm a Christian. I love God. I know that God loves people. And I can honestly say, as much as I'd love to believe that I'm not afraid or I'm a little uncomfortable around people that are different than me, because of some of the stories I have, some of that does affect me, where I may be a little reluctant to get involved in a social gathering or an event where I'm the only person of my kind. And I say this not for myself. I don't feel any need to be vindicated. But this is about what the company Starbucks is doing. And I've always wanted to say something about this issue, but I've been reluctant because of the concern of being called the angry black guy. And I can tell you guys, I'm not angry. I'm actually pretty happy. My life is blessed. I've got an amazing community church of people that are totally different than me, so like I'm good. But I will say this, and again, this is not just about me clearing the air with my concerns so you guys could look out for Tory Ivers. Like I don't need that. I'm gonna be okay. But I will say that I have been placed in a lot of uncomfortable situations. I've been called racial slurs several times, and maybe some of you guys think, Tory, I never thought that something like that would have happened to someone like you. Well, it has. This is America, and those things do happen. And there was particularly once or twice where I was placed in a situation where I thought it was going to cost me my life. And I can tell you, I was the only person of my kind there. But for any person, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, I know that those of you that are watching have been placed in a situation where you were uncomfortable. Maybe you felt that you were in danger. Maybe you felt belittled. But guys, how awesome would it be for us to come to a place where we see no color, where difference doesn't mean division. Difference doesn't have the power to divide us. And it shouldn't be that way. And I can tell you, since I've been with the company in 2013, I've seen customers I've witnessed customers treating me or other different individuals with contempt. I've had conversations with people who were comfortable enough to express their frustration or their discomfort with somebody like me. I've had real conversations with people. And I guess I'm kind of rambling right now, but I guess what I really want to say that I believe will be helpful to all of us is how will you go about being responsible in a time like now? And you may stop and ask, do I mean you're responsible for the particular issue? No, not necessarily. Am I saying that you are being irresponsible? No, not exactly. But what I'm saying is that too often we have looked for the person to blame. We've looked for the scapegoat. There's no scapegoat. There's just a human issue, and there's humans that either choosing to be responsible or they're just ignoring the problem. And I can tell you what I'm about, what I believe Starbucks is about right now is taking responsibility. What does that mean? Taking a step, whatever step that is, whatever that means, to being a part of the solution. And if you're not doing that, if you're not actively seeking that, then it's possible that maybe you're part of the problem. Maybe you're just sticking your head in the sand and pretending that this issue doesn't exist. But guys, it does. Those of you that are my friends, you know me. You know Tory Ivy. You know that I'm an okay guy. You know that I love people. And you know I'm not a victim. You know that's not the case. But I'm speaking on behalf of those people that may not know how to talk about the issue, that may not be at a place where they speak up for themselves. Maybe they would be called that angry black person. But I personally want to thank CEO Kevin Johnson for doing his part. And I am committed to being a part of the solution. I'm committed to having conversations with people. I'm committed to listening. I'm committed to rubbing shoulders with people that are different with me. And I'll tell you, like, as a black man, that's something that it's not really an option for me. I'm not complaining about it, but I'm saying I've had a lot of experience of having to rub shoulders with people that are different than me. And maybe you haven't. Maybe a simple step such as pursuing the person you work with that's different than you. Maybe it's building a friendship, building a bridge with that person and finding out who they are as a person. Not about their stereotypes, not about, hey, do you identify with this as a black person? Do you identify with this as a Hispanic person? Are all white people alike? You know, that's not what I'm talking about. I think what we all could do is acknowledge that, hey, maybe I could do a little bit better with getting to know the person next to me that may be different than me, that may look different than me. So I hope some of this has incited you guys. Maybe this has been insightful. I don't know. I'm here talking for 11 minutes right now, but I've always wanted to talk about this because it's a topic that's near and dear to me. It's something that I am reminded of every single day. But for those who are different than me, I want you to know that I love you. I want you to know that I need you. We need diversity, guys. And maybe it starts there. Maybe it's acknowledging the beauty and the need for diversity. And if you look around and there's not that many people, or there's not anybody different than you, what will you do about that?